What would you expect the Americans to do if there were a real invasion of Taiwan?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think the US, at this point, there is a likelihood they will defend Taiwan. How far that defense goes remains to be seen. There's certainly a lot of wargaming occurring at the moment in examining all the different factors. How do we defend against a Beijing invasion? The good thing is, well, not the good thing, but the more positive aspect is the fact that I've heard that Beijing cannot really sustain a campaign for too long if it decided to invade Taiwan. It probably has a 1 month window to do what it can before its forces are spent and the attrition starts to wear down the Chinese forces. So you have to remember, although China's military is big on paper, budget is big as well, there's a lot of other issues. Again, you're looking at a military force that hasn't really been tested in real world conflicts. You're looking at a personnel, which someone told me the other day, the Chinese military is really where you go when you don't have anywhere else to go in life. So the Chinese military, it has an HR issue as well. It's getting a lot of recruits from parts of the world, parts of China that really don't want to be there. It's not really a career path compared to Australia or the United States. So this is the sort of military that Beijing has mustered together. And can that actually survive a conflict with a military like the US combined with Japan, Korea, or Australia? I think that question remains to be determined.
And even if the West, the United States, did not militarily resist an invasion, it would almost be unavoidable for the West to impose serious sanctions on China if China were to invade Taiwan. I can't imagine that the West wouldn't impose very serious sanctions. And could China last for long? Could the Chinese economy cope with the imposition of sanctions? We would suffer, of course, particularly, but I think our governments would still feel that they would have to go along with a Western move to impose sanctions.
Well, I think there's no choice. I think, if you look at the damage, the after effects of the Ukraine war around the world, I think such an event in Taiwan, you could probably multiply that factor by 2 or 3 times. The amount of trade that goes through those straits, those are some of the busiest shipping lanes in the world around the South China Sea and Taiwan. The disruption would be nothing compared to what happened to Ukraine. So I think the Western nations really, there is no choice but to act, because the amount of disruption that's going to come through a conflict in Taiwan is going to be quite monumental.